All right, we're gonna do a little bit of sprucing up to get things looking a little more Christmassy out here on the porch. Nothing major, keeping things really simple. Just doing a few little Christmassy additions. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm working on my front porch and getting it decorated for Christmas. I'm keeping things very simple this year as opposed to the past few years where I've kind of gone for a very maximal, festive, kind of cluttered look, which has been great, but I tend to get a little sick of it pretty quickly, and come, January after Christmas is over, it makes for, a lot of hard cleanup in the freezing cold. So this year I really wanted to kind of be disciplined and really force myself just to focus on the front door area mostly, and a few containers right around the door. What I'm planning to do is stick with that oversized door swag that I make using cuttings from my back evergreens. I love the swag. I think it's a nice staple. I might make a few of them, and then I'll use some cuttings to kind of just make, very casual Christmassy arrangements in some of the containers by my front porch. All right, you can see I still have my fall wreath. I'll get rid of that for sure, but I think I'm just gonna leave my pots here. I do plan to absolutely power wash all of the concrete next spring. I'm actually really excited to do that. So part of today's task is to kind of cover that up. But you can see I have just, 4 containers here, which I'm planning on putting greens in, maybe some clippings from some of my shrubs, which I like to spray paint red. And I'll show you those in a second. Here I have just a huge pile of cushions that I left because, we're nice and covered here. And it is a little rainy out, so I wanted to make sure things stayed dried. I'm not focused too much on this area, the sitting area. We don't use it a whole lot, but I did switch out the furniture again that I had just replaced for my fall porch. I just found that it was too big and it just didn't seem like the right proportions. So swapped it out. I'll move in my smaller set, nothing fancy, and just kind of, use some cushions, make it look cute, or at least welcoming and nice and neat. So I think what I'm going to do right now is head out to the back forest area, as I call it, and start cutting some greens. All right, just kidding. I wanted to spray paint some of these clippings I got from our burning bushes. They actually have really cute little red berries on them. And I thought about just sticking with that, but then I wanted a little more red for my containers. So I'm gonna go ahead and start spray painting these a little bit just so they have time to dry. So what I like to do for the swag is kind of get, a few just big branches. I like to mix up the colors and get kind of some of this green and then some of the silvery blue spruce color. And I'm gonna try to make, I think 3 or 4, roughly the same size. I think I'm gonna focus on those first and then come back and get some more of the kind of filler greens for the containers. But I'm just gonna do my best to kind of capture this part. It's a little tricky in there. It's like a hill. It can be a little tricky to film, but here goes nothing. All right, we're back up front. I am switching gears here because I wasn't finding quite as many of these kind of nice swags for the front door. Not enough to make 4, because originally I had planned on maybe doing a bunch and sticking some up, you know, above these little pillar things. And I'm just not quite finding the shapes, the sizes that I'm looking for out there. So I think I'm just gonna revise a bit and stick with 1 for the front door, and the rest I will use for my containers, just kind of cut them up nicely. But this is what I do for my swags. I just basically go through and find a few branches kind of as my foundation piece. I like to mix up the greens, so we have the green of the fir and then this nice you know, silvery blue of the blue spruce. So that's the main piece, and then I'll go through and add, you know, some greens. Let's say, let me get a little piece here. So let's say I take something like this, and I'll cut these down, but fan them out nice so they make kind of a nice top piece. So it's not just, you know, cut branches at the top. All right, so get rid of this. All right, I'm going to test out kind of just what I have so far. I'm hoping this command hook, I can't remember what weight this holds. I'll need to add another one. Oh. All right. Okay, needs trimming up, needs a bow to kind of cover this little joint right here. But so far it's looking good. And then I think I'll add another command hook down here to kind of anchor the bottom piece and take a load off this top part. I'm hoping this command hook works. I might need to replace it with a heftier one. We'll see. All right, that was kind of painful. I tried to do the first one without talking because, you know, the pressure of doing this on film is makes it harder. All right, so for my main ribbon, this is one I just kind of wanted as an accent. So I think I'm going to put it kind of on the back just so the stripe kind of shows through. This is my main ribbon, just this really pretty velvet red. It's not technically two-sided, but it's not bad. Like it doesn't look noticeable if this side shows at all. It does have wire in it, which should make this a little easier. But I'm gonna measure out my first leg, and then that's how I decide, or tail, whatever you wanna call them. And then that's where I decide, you know, where to start my first loop. And I'm not great at this. You could see in the earlier one, I just kind of kick out my thing. Some people are really good at this, but I just twist and loop as best as I can. It's kind of hard to explain for me. I've seen people make this look super easy, I find that if I do this and fast forward, it looks like I'm doing a good job. But twist and loop. Ugh, maybe this one's harder to work with. I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going and connect it all with my little paddle wire at the end. Three, 4, 5, 6. All right. Should we do 7 for good measure? Maybe. Okay, whew. It's getting chilly. I think I'm about ready to start getting this kind of buttoned up and finished. Again, simple was kind of my goal. So I did work on a few containers over here in the corner just to kind of see what I could throw together. Again, very quickly, just using things from my yard. You could definitely add to them. I'm keeping my eye open for birch branches because I think that would look really pretty. I suppose you could go buy some, real or artificial, but I'll show you those and then we'll go ahead and finish up and get the 4 pots by the front door done. All right, so these are my 2 pots that I've just kind of thrown together. I don't know if I'm considering those finished. I am gonna put my chair right here, so it's gonna kind of be nestled in. Those are kind of just the accent. I feel like it's kind of lost in all the mess over here. So I also did attach my bows to the swag, just using wire. I laid them right on top of each other. I like how the stripe kind of comes through behind the red satin. Of course, I'll cut the ends, make them that nice, pretty bow-shaped end, and get them all tidied up. But we're gonna go ahead and start working on these pots and call it a day. All right, there we are. Pretty quick and easy. I did this all in the span of my daughter being gone for a few hours at preschool, so definitely a lot more simple than years past. These are nothing fancy, just things I found in my yard. I did use spray paint, so total of what I purchased was a few rolls of ribbon and a can of red spray paint, just to kind of bring out the red color of these berries. I think they look great. I would love to add some birch branches, but I don't have any. Might keep my eye out. This is all furniture I've had, of course. It's old, but I think it works just fine. Everything is looking nice and cozy. Simple, easy breezy. And this is my cleanup pile. Normally, when I do a big front porch for Christmas, I have a huge wagon of cleanup. This year, really easy. Put my boxes back inside, my supplies, blower, and I'm done. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and kind of my more pared down approach to the Christmas porch. It feels a lot better having just a simple, easy project to tackle on these cold days. I might add some lights later. I haven't done that yet, but I do have a cord running from my balcony, so I have the ability to just quickly add lights. The other thing is I might need to cinch my door swag back. It's kind of bowing out from the door. I've had that happen before, so I might just add another hook and a wire and kind of cinch it back. But overall, I'm happy with how things turned out. I love putting together a porch on a budget, not spending a ton of money, and just kind of being creative and seeing what I can put together. Nothing too crazy. It's not anything too different from what I normally do, other than being very pared down. I got this done in just a few hours, all while my daughter was at preschool. She'll be coming home here any second. And it just feels good to check it off the list. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.